A good Friday morning, everybody. I'm meteorologist Dery alongside meteorologist Courtney Aitken. Welcome to our weather wheel, where we have the next 15 minutes to talk all things weather related and maybe get caught off guard on some other stuff as well. So welcome to the conversation.
Yeah.
Yes. So weekend almost here, and we saw the transition yesterday into cooler temperatures. I mean, it was kind of a chilly day yesterday.
It definitely was. I mean, I stepped outside just trying to get that walk in, to squeeze it in when it wasn't raining. It was still lightly sprinkling, but yeah, it was not that warm rain that we've had a couple times I can think of in the past month. We've had kind of that warm rain, and yesterday was not that. It was kind of a more chilly rain, and even this morning, it was a little bit cooler.
It certainly was. It was the kind of day where, like you said, you really had to plan out your day because it wasn't all day rain all the time. It was just kind of like on again, off again showers for most of the day. And it got a little gusty when we got some of those heavier showers moving through. But like you mentioned, it was a cooler start to the day. I think it was the first time that MSP has been down into the 50s in like 3 weeks or so. So
I would believe it.
Yeah, it's been a warm start to June, and finally we're seeing the cooler weather.
Yeah, kind of a huge switch up, right? Because it's been an interesting week. I mean, Wednesday, you did the handoff with John. We had a really long day. There were storms in the morning that had moved in overnight, so Ben was tracking those, and then John and I and Jamie tracked additional storms during the afternoon and evening. And then yesterday, no storms, just rain. Right. And now it's sunny. So finally, it's a nice end to the week. But the changes continue because starting tomorrow, we're in this cooler pattern.
That's right.
Lasts.
And you mentioned Wednesday being a stormy day. It was also the warmest day of the year so far. I was surprised to see this.
Yeah.
It was 91 degrees. That was the high temperature, and that was the first 90 that we've seen so far this year. And that was followed up by one of the coolest days of the month of June so far, when we dropped into the lower 70s. So today is kind of rebounding a little bit, where we see temperatures warm up back to near 80 degrees. Let's talk details with your forecast in case you're not going to be with us for the whole entire 15-minute show, which we hope you are. This is yesterday's rainfall. Many of us between about 1/10 and 1/4 of an inch of rainfall. Radar estimates a little bit higher in places. Some places saw close to 1/2 an inch of rain, depending on those heavier showers. But you could see northern Minnesota mainly missed out on the rainfall, especially from Alexandria through the Brainerd Lakes area and the Iron Range. It was mainly the southern half of the state that saw the decent rain. As far as today's weather goes, decent today, but overall we're entering a cooler than average pattern. That'll be the case especially this weekend, and we have several rain chances, the first this evening and overnight, and the next chance will be on Wednesday. So this is microcast that gives us mostly sunny skies during the day today, but once we get closer to sundown, which is getting later and later, which is nice to see, we will start to see some clouds build and some showers develop in the far western part of the state. That begins to move into our area probably after dark. But maybe a little earlier for parts of western Minnesota. And some forecast models are kind of downplaying this a little bit. I think there's a better chance of seeing some widely scattered showers and a few thunderstorms. Nothing severe as we head into this evening, but something to keep in mind. Is that something that you're seeing, Courtney?
Yeah, for sure. It is interesting. You know, we always consult multiple models here, and this one, I think you're onto something. It's probably downplaying it a little bit because we have our high-res model, and we look at that one, and it shows the activity quite a bit more widespread into this evening. So I think that if you're out and about late tonight, like I was saying during the stream, maybe you're headed to the game tonight, Twins play at home, and then maybe you're headed out and about downtown afterwards. There's certainly a chance that you get rained on a little bit.
Yeah.
So I would maybe just plan for that. Even though this model doesn't seem to show much, there's a pretty good potential that we see some moisture tonight and possibly even into tomorrow. I'm thinking mainly to the south of the metro. And you can see a little bit of a hint of that here on this model of the microcast. But again, that's something that the high-res model, which is not the one you're looking at here, but the other one that we look at, that one does kind of play it up for tomorrow. So I'm curious to see how that shakes out.
Yeah, and of course this time of year the weekend is coveted, right?
Yes.
You know, especially we have not only grad parties, but it's starting to get to wedding season, and we have things like garage sales, things like that. You kind of count on dry weather over the weekend. Right now we're forecasting mostly dry weather, but we're watching the trend with those rain showers across far southern Minnesota on Saturday. This is your forecast for today. Plenty of sunshine. I mean, today is about as warm as it gets. It will be a bit breezy. I think there will be a west to northwest wind that'll be with us not only today, but through the weekend as well. So that's going to make it feel a little bit cooler outside. 81 today, but check out the next 7 days. There is a sharp drop in temperatures. Saturday into Sunday, plenty of sunshine, but still temperatures in the lower 70s. We haven't seen, I think, back-to-back days in the 70s since mid-May. So it's been a while since we've seen temperatures this cool lasting for this long. And I say cool, the average high is still in the mid to upper 70s, but you know, almost every day so far this month of June has been 80 degrees or warmer. And you can see we have one day 80 degrees or warmer on the 7-day. I mean, the whole next week or so is going to stay seasonably cool. A few showers possible by Tuesday, but a better chance as we head into your Wednesday. But I think a lot of folks kind of they see we enter the month of June and it's meteorological summer, and you just expect these summer-like temperatures to stick around. And when you see a drop back like this, it's like, wait, is summer over? Yeah,
you definitely feel the change. Like I did this morning, I was like, oh, I actually kind of need a hoodie on if I'm going to step outside. And so that's something to keep in mind. I find myself doing this all the time. I'll look at the 7-day, I'm looking at the models, I'm only looking at the highs. Well, you got to plan for the lows too, because that's how it's going to feel when you get out the door first thing in the morning. When you have lows in the 50s, I get cold. I'm kind of a wimp, but I get cold. So I think that some brisk mornings are in the forecast for sure. So I
think you can use that adjective. I mean, it's brisk. I mean, it's all relative, right? Because like in the month of October, like 50 degrees is really cold because you've been dealing with warm temperatures all summer long. You're used to it. You're acclimated to it. And then all of a sudden you see colder temperatures. On the other side of that, you get into like late February into March, you get that first 50-degry day.
And you're like, wow, it is balmy. It's just like that. Any big change is like a shock to the system. Yeah.
So I think it's nice to see because my air conditioner has been running nonstop so far this June. So we turned it off for the first time in a long time yesterday. We'll see if we have to turn it on again today with 80 degrees, but no humidity. I mean, 80 degrees and sunny this time of year is pretty nice.
It's really nice. And I'm on the same page. I've been running the AC pretty much every day the past several, and the humidity doesn't help. It definitely doesn't help. I think that if the air was a little bit drier, I may not feel the need to have that relief as soon as I get inside. But yeah, it's been toasty, so much so that my latest purchase was a fan.
All right.
Yeah, it's like, I'm pulling the plug because I don't have a ceiling fan, and it's been hot. So
it's been hot, and as soon as you do that, all of a sudden,
as soon as I do that, I don't really need it anymore.
So
but I will need it at some point.
At some point, yeah. This isn't summer being over. This is summer taking a back seat for kind of an extended period of time. I don't see the heat and humidity returning anytime soon. But hey, on the other side of weather, it's been long days, right? We're entering the longest days of the season, and kind of an interesting milestone today is beginning today in the Twin Cities. Our sunsets are 9 p.m. or later. That's a reason to celebrate, right? We always like those later evenings. So 9 p.m. or later, that lasts from today until July the 10th. So at least over the next, 3 weeks or so? Is that 3 weeks? So over the next 3 weeks, lots of sunlight in the evening, or daylight, I should say. Current day length is 15 hours and 34 minutes and 7 seconds.
And 7 seconds.
Saw that. Yep. So we're still gaining daylight, but at a much slower rate than we were back in, say, May, April, and March. But I think it is reason to celebrate because, a lot of folks this time of year are just pining for those days where you get to stay out so late and the sun doesn't set until after 9. It's nice.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I was last night, I was getting ready for bed. This is probably like 9 o'clock. It still looked light out there at that point, and people were still in the pool. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. People really do want to enjoy every moment of this. And of course, the peak is a little bit less than 10 days away. That's the solstice, so that's the longest day of the year. And on that day, I mean, you have more day than you do night, essentially. So.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. And especially compared to the contrast, I think when you get to, November especially just feels like just the darkest month. But
you're losing daylight so quickly.
So fast. And November tends to be a cloudy month, and, it's the fall, right?
Yeah.
And then you get into December, the shortest days of the year. I think we have like 8.5 hours of daylight then.
Oh, my God.
Compared to 15 and a half hours that we see now, and the sun sets at like 4:30 in the evening. So those days could not be further away, though.
Yeah,
that's kind of the positive here.
That's the positive, and it's like at least in December you've got the holidays, then you get into January, and then you start getting like, oh God, what's next? We're stuck.
Yeah,
but. Yeah, that is far away, so that's good.
Now we're at that time of year where everybody's weekend is filling up with like stuff to do.
Yeah.
Especially for those of you with kids, like you go on a trip or something like that, and it's rare to find an open weekend. So especially an open weekend that has decent weather, and I think that's what's going to be the forecast this weekend. Cooler. You'll have to acclimate to these cooler temperatures and also that breezy kind of west-northwest wind, but at least we are expected to see mainly dry conditions. So this is our radar satellite composite. You will notice a few sprinkles across the northern part of the state today, but overall our weather is being driven by this big low pressure system, which is hanging out over northwestern Ontario. That's where it's going to park itself over the next couple of days. So you can see that circular, that counterclockwise flow around that low pressure system. What this is going to do is bring us more refreshing air, that kind of west-northwesterly flow pattern that we are in. That means the dew point is going to stay on the lower side, pretty crisp, even as we head into Sunday, Monday of next week. But also you're going to notice a couple weak disturbances kind of rotating around that low, which is going to give us that rain chance late this evening and overnight tonight. So this is another look at microcast. You can see it's mostly sunny during the day today, but once we get closer to sundown and beyond, you'll notice those clouds increasing, and here's those rain showers starting to show up. I think this is the updated run that honestly might have updated
I think this updated while we were talking, so
okay.
Good timing.
So this is a fresh run of our in-house model, what we call the graph. So this is showing us widely scattered showers, kind of the emphasis southern Minnesota. I still think that it might drift a little bit further north. I'm thinking the corridor along I-94 is going to be the main area that will see those showers. Rumble of thunder still possible. I'm really interested to see if the trend with that lifting the rain from the south to north on Saturday holds true with this one. So remember, we were talking about Saturday, mid to late morning. Southern Minnesota was kind of favored to see rain showers. Let's take it through the day tomorrow. It keeps it south.
It's not too bad.
How about that?
And you can, so that's mainly to the south, but what I was noticing too when I first came in this morning is if you look up to the north, it's a lot of cloud cover up for the Arrowhead, anywhere really north of Brainerd, north of Duluth. It's a blanket of clouds, there's some moisture there, and it is a steep drop off with those temperatures. So if you are headed way up north for the weekend, don't expect to see 70s. It'll probably be 60s, especially for tomorrow, and then Sunday, maybe lower 70s.
So what was kind of funny is I saw how cool this air mass was over the weekend, and I was looking at, seriously, snow forecasts to see if it was going to be cold enough, or even in way northern Ontario, is it going to be cold enough to see showers, snow showers up there? It's not. Apparently.
But here we are in June. Look at the snow.
Yeah, I mean, it's not that cold of an air mass, but I mean, you go from the 80s and 90s basically all week long to, we saw the correction yesterday, to 50s for highs across northern Minnesota as we get into the weekend. It's a pretty steep drop off.
Yeah, I would actually be curious to know what somewhere like International Falls or what else is up there? Grand Marais lives in its own world of just being cold all the time. But I know that, so our warmest day of the year so far was Wednesday, low 90s. I wonder what theirs has been so far. Ooh. Maybe 70s?
I think the Falls did reach 90 degrees earlier.
Oh, that's right. I do remember that actually, because there was one day where they were warmer than us.
Yeah, because we were stuck in the clouds and they had sunshine. But if you're close to Lake Superior, from Duluth, Superior, up to Harbors, Grand Marais, like you mentioned, I mean, most of the time they're cooler because they have that big giant body of water that's keeping them cool.
Yeah,
but
do that.
Let's show you one last look at our forecast here. So for today, mostly sunny during the day. Rain is looking more likely this evening. I know we have some outdoor watch parties going on for the World Cup. Just keep in mind, showers look a little more likely as we head closer to sundown and beyond. So this is today's forecast. Notice as we head into your Saturday how cool it is up north. Like Courtney mentioned, cloudy conditions for the Iron Range and the international border. And while we are in the 70s, northern Minnesota might not make it out of the 50s as we head into Saturday. As we head into Sunday, it looks like a little correction with warmer temperatures up north. And you can see the 70s will continue through the rest of your forecast as well, with our next chance for showers numbers next Tuesday into Wednesday. That does it for our 15-minute weather window. Stick around. We have more news and more weather coming up.